and welcome to Focus on the 46th. I'm State Senator Bartolotta, and I am thrilled to bring you to your house, the People's House, the state capitol right here in Harrisburg. We've got some amazing things to show you behind the scenes, and we have a wonderful little surprise coming up too. I'll give you a hint. Take a look up. So Tammy, we are here in the Supreme Court, and I have never been here before, so I'm learning all about it myself. But this is absolutely a glorious room. So take it away. Tell us what you know here.
All right. There's 3 Supreme Court rooms in Pennsylvania. There's one in Pittsburgh, one in Philadelphia, and one here. There's only one Supreme Court. It's a roving court. We're the only roving court, and we're the oldest Supreme Court in the United States. Our 7 justices sit up front. Attorneys sit here, and this is where you may be seated if you'd ever come and watch.
Can the general public just come in anytime?
Yes, they can.
Wow, okay.
Yes, they can.
Interesting.
The woodwork is mahogany from Belize, Central America. The dome is the only stained glass dome in the Capitol, and it's the only way to see it is from in here. You do not see it from the outside. It was done by Alfred Godwin, a Pennsylvania native. The chandeliers are 2 tons each. They have statues in each one of them. They're called the lawgivers. These are the Hebrew, Moses and Solomon. These are the Greek, Aristotle and Solon.
Oh my goodness.
Now the paintings in this room were done by Miss Violet Oakley. She was 28 years old when she was commissioned to paint for the Capitol back in 1902. That was quite a privilege because back then, women couldn't even vote. She did the governor's reception room, the Senate, and the Supreme Court room. She did 43 paintings in all for our Capitol, and it took her 25 years to finish her commission.
Wow,
now,
that's like the Sistine Chapel.
Yes. The painting above the doorway is her most unique painting. What makes it so unique is that she painted a lady's portrait in the very top of it. Do you see the eyes looking back at you at the very top? She calls this divine law, and in divine law, she felt you needed love, law, and wisdom. We're going to find those words in this painting also. Going down the left-hand side and across the bottom in orange is a large letter L. Inside the L is the O, the V, and the E. For law, take that large L again. Going down the bridge of the girl's nose in blue is a large A, and connected to the bottom of the A in blue is a large W. For Anne, take that large A again. The N is on the tip of her nose, the D is on her chin. For wisdom, take that large W across the bottom, and inside of it, the angels are holding the ISDOM. Love, law, and wisdom, she felt, made divine law.
That's amazing.
And on the other side of the room, that book underneath the glass case over here, is Violet Oakley's sketchbook.
Wow.
Now the clock in the very back of the room is a hand-wound clock. We have over 200 hand-wound clocks in our Capitol complex that do get hand-wound every 7 days. On the face of this one is a coat of arms, and the glass is shaped like the keystone, since we are known as the Keystone State.
This is a phenomenal room.
It is beautiful.
So how long do you think it took for the artist to create this stained glass dome?
You know what? We don't know. We do not know a lot about the stained glass dome, except for that he was from Pennsylvania. So and this dome was supposed to go into the house ceiling, but it was much too large.
Oh, really?
So they put a painting in the top of the ceiling, and they made a place for it over here. Wow. And when they did the restoration in the late 80s, they did an atrium type dome over the top of it to protect it.
Sure. So you still get the light from the sunlight in there, but it's not,
it's
pounded by the elements.
Yes, it's protected.
Phenomenal. This is really a spectacular room. So I bet here in Harrisburg we have probably the most beautiful Supreme Court room.
Yes, we do.
Of all 3.
Yes, we do.
So you have to come out and see this when you come and visit the Capitol and take a tour.
Yes, you do. is the House chambers. The desks are the original desks from 1906, and they are made of mahogany from Belize, Central America. So they are over 100 years old. The marble that wraps around the bottom of this room is from the Pyrenees Mountains in France. It was donated to our capital by monks. After they donated it, their quarries were closed, never to be reopened. The paintings in this room were done by Mr. Abbey, Edwin Austin Abbey. He did this room and the main rotunda. The painting here in the middle is the largest painting in the capital. It's called the Apotheosis of Pennsylvania. It shows a genius estate at the top in white, looking down over prominent people of Pennsylvania.
So all of these, well, I see George Washington and
William Penn sitting right in the middle there with the red cap, the red cape draped across his lap. To your left is Benjamin Franklin. To your right is Robert Morris.
Wow.
Down in the left-hand corner on horseback is General George Meade. The man standing there in the black suit with his arm outstretched is Thaddeus Stevens, just to name a few.
Wow. It's phenomenal.
The painting to the right is the reading of the Declaration of Independence. To the left is William Penn accepting the peace treaty from the Delaware Indians.
Beautiful. And every one of these stained glass windows
we have
has a different
14
story.
in this room and 10 in the Senate. All 24 represent early ideas, industries, sciences, and arts of Pennsylvania. They were all done by William Van Ingen, who was a student of Tiffany, the famous glassblower.
Well, that's why they're so gorgeous.
Yes, they do weigh 200 pounds each. There's 4 layers of glass to them, and they are lit by natural sunlight. Now, all the gold that you see in every room is real gold. It's 23 karat gold leafing.
Good Lord.
And the 2 small chandeliers in this room weigh 2 tons. The 4 larger ones weigh 4.5 tons. That's about the size of a large male African elephant. About every 2 years, they will erect the scaffolding in this room, and they'll change all the light bulbs at one time, which add up to a little over 1,000 in this room alone. There is a panel in the large chandeliers that swing out, and a person of 6-foot stature is able to stand inside of them.
So before they were electrified, were they ever anything but electric?
This Capitol building has always been electric.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why you see the letter X shining back out at you from a lot of the globes here in our Capitol is because they are a diamond cut in the glass. And that's what, but there's regular light bulbs in there, but that's why you get the letter X shining back out at you. Because back in 1906, the highest wattage was 25 watt. So they felt by making that diamond cut in the glass, it would make a brighter light to shine back.
Wow.
But this Capitol building has always been electric.
So what is the painting on the center of the ceiling?
That is called the Passage of Hours. It shows 24 maidens in various dress, indicating the 24 hours of the day. The sun, the moon, the stars, and the Halley's Comet is also in that painting. They said that it was visible the year he was painting it, which was 1910,
and it's every 75 years.
Yep, and that's why he put it in his painting. The painting in the very back of the room is Baron von Steuben instructing his Valley Forge troops.
Beautiful. So how many seats?
There's about 210 seats. There's 203 members, but there's about, it's either 208 or 210 seats in here. Republicans, of course, are on, when you're looking down, but here they're on the left, and Democrats are on the right from looking at this position, but there are about 10 Republicans who do sit on the Democratic side right now.
Right, because there's an abundance of them right now. Yeah, and that's why they say across the aisle.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, different parties sit on different sides. So tell us a little bit about up here.
This is where the Speaker of the House sits. His name right now is Representative Mike Turzai from Allegheny County. He is over the House, and that is the oldest elected office in Pennsylvania. And all that we call them the clerical people sit right in front of him. The bench seats are for the messengers. That's where they sit. And then, of course, the parliamentarian, the chief clerk, and the mace bearer and the chaplain also can sit across the front.
Great. We've got the minority leaders podium over here.
Yes. And the majority
leader
yes.
over here as well.
Yes.
Really a gorgeous room.
Yes, it is.
So we just finished looking at the beautiful House of Representatives room, and now this is what you see when you come out. It is absolutely spectacular. This gorgeous dome and all of these beautiful paintings. Honestly, it's like being in Italy to me.
Yes, it is.
And actually these statues here in the bronze remind me so much of Michelangelo. So can you tell us some of the details here?
They are gold leafed, 23 karat gold leaf. They represent legislature and finance, and then the ones above the house are truth and justice. Now the marble in here is Vermont marble. The outside of the Capitol is Vermont granite. Our grand staircase down here is in an Italian marble called Carrara, and our staircase is patterned after the grand staircase of the Paris Opera House. Now the floor down there on the first floor that you see, that is the original floor for this building. It's over 100 years old. It was done by Henry Chapman Mercer from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It's made of Moravian tile, and it has nearly 400 picture tiles in it.
And they all mean something different.
They depict primitive industries, early modes of transportation, wildlife, and insects of Pennsylvania. It's also called the Carpet of History.
Oof. So this would really make a fun scavenger hunt,
And
wouldn't
kids
it?
love it.
Yeah.
Yes, they love it. They
So
do
that's
do
something that parents could do to bring them,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Any age would be great to come and learn anything and everything about the history of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
The history of the legislature, everything. Okay, so on one side of the building here is the House of Representatives.
And over here is the Senate.
All right, and we're passing the Lieutenant Governor's office
Yes.
right here, which has got some beautiful furniture, a wonderful fireplace, and rich history in there. But we're not gonna bother our Lieutenant Governor right now.
All right.
And this fine gentleman
Is Andrew Curtin,
Andrew
our,
Curtin.
our former governor.
Wow.
The dome here in the main rotunda is patterned after St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and it weighs 52 million pounds. Now the statue that's on the outside of the dome that you see from the city is over 17 feet tall. It weighs 3 tons, and it's made of gilded bronze, and it stands for justice and mercy, and it was also designed by Joseph Houston, our architect of our building.
And during the show, I'm actually going to be climbing up inside the dome all the way to the very top, and I can't wait. That's going to be really cool. So Tammy, we're here in the Senate chamber, and I'll show you where my desk is, and this is where I come every day to work. But it's a little loud because there's always something kind of going on here.
Yes,
Senators come in and bring their guests from the district, and take pictures and show them around. And there's tours going on up above us in the gallery. Lots of kids come in on field trips and things like that, different groups. And honestly, anyone from the district, I would absolutely love to have you come out and show you around, give you a tour. Tammy would be helpful to show you all kinds of great things here at the Capitol. I would love to have you come down. But right now, we're going to be talking about the Senate chambers, which is absolutely gorgeous.
The desks in here also are the original desks from 1906, and they're made of mahogany. The marble that wraps around the bottom of this room is from Ireland, and it's called Connemara marble. The drapes are 87 pounds a pair, and they're gold French velvet. The chandeliers, again, are 2 tons each, just like in the Supreme Courtroom. The stained glass windows across the top are also just like the ones in the house, in that William Van Ingen did these also. They're all different, and they all represent early ideas, industry, sciences, and arts of Pennsylvania.
What's great in here is that above these stained glass windows, they're identified.
Yes.
There's peace and glass flowing, temperance.
Yes.
So there's always something wonderful to look at
Yes.
here. And these paintings here that we're looking
paintings
at.
were done by Miss Violet Oakley, the same lady we talked about in the courtroom.
Right.
The painting that spans the whole way across the top of the room is called International Understanding. It's her mystical vision of a world in unity, and that's what they call that figure there in the middle in blue. She felt to have unity, you needed to ban all forms of slavery, which are represented in the paintings to the right of unity, and all war, which is represented in the paintings to the left.
Now, something that I don't think that we actually talked about was the fact that the woman who did all of this artwork, she had to paint these things outside of the Capitol.
She did everything in her studio, and then they were brought here and put on the walls.
Because women weren't allowed to be
on the House
floor and the Senate floor.
Yes.
So she couldn't paint them here. She had to paint them elsewhere and have them brought in. And even back in that day, any woman that wanted to come onto the floor had to be accompanied by a gentleman. So,
yes.
Well, times have changed quite a bit. I think there are 18 women in the legislature at this time. So it's just very, very interesting to me that the history. So we have two paintings here in the arches, one of George Washington and one of Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
That are spectacular.
Yeah, the two to the left are called Creation of a Nation, and they are of revolutionary times. The two to the right are called Preservation of a Nation, and they are of Civil War times, which is the Battle of Gettysburg.
Okay, I'm going to show you right now where my desk is, where I sit here on the Senate floor when we have session. This here is my desk, and we're on the right-hand side of the room as we face forward, which that's why they say, you know, politically, you're on the right if you're a Republican, and you're on the left as Democrat. So, and crossing the aisle, we've actually got many of the seats that are on the left-hand side because at the moment in the state Senate, we have a predominance of Republican state senators. So this is where we are whenever we're on the floor and we vote on bills and amendments. There's a room in the back where we have different meetings. That's called off the floor. There'll be different meetings for different committees. They'll go in there and they'll have a quick meeting and they'll vote things out of committee and then come back in here and continue the session to either vote, you know, on bills that have been put through committee. So it's a glorious room, and it's a wonderful place to be with the history that is so incredibly rich in Pennsylvania. So I'm really glad to be able to share this with you. Tammy, I can't thank you enough for giving us this amazing tour and being so gracious with your time. And honestly, I could walk around with you all day long and learn all of this stuff that's here. And I can't wait to do more of it. So, and I can't wait to bring my friends from District 46 here to the Capitol and see some of this incredible grandeur. And I thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're here with Senator Joe Scarnati, who is the President Pro Tempore, and we're going to explain what that is, and we're going to talk about what kind of goes on up here at the podium and fill you in a little bit. Thank you for taking some time this morning, too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to catch up with you here on the floor of the Senate. Nice and quiet here today. Nobody's around yet. Yes, I've been in the position of President Pro Tempore for, this is my 10th year. And it's a position that's elected by the entire body of the Senate, both Democrats and Republicans. And, you know, I explain the position as it's almost, yes, you'll hear it's the third highest ranking constitutional office. It's this, it's that. But clearly, I'm an administrator, and we administrate and we take care of the business of running the Senate. And running the Senate includes, you know, health care. It includes pensions, it includes parking spots, it includes assigning all these desks out here. And then the most coveted thing, which people, listeners will like to hear this, is assigning parking spots out front.
There we go.
But the chief clerk's office is underneath my office. The parliamentarian, communications, the whole mail system here in the Senate. So there's a lot that goes on that keeps us busy.
Like the CEO, then.
It is. Yeah, it is like a CEO. And I look for 3 years. I served as lieutenant governor, which is the position that the President of the Senate has. So when people hear President Pro Tempore, I always explain it as it's a temporary President of the Senate. So when the President of the Senate or the Lieutenant Governor is not here, as you know, I go up and I preside.
Right.
And so I enjoy doing that, but that's one of the functions. It's probably one of the small functions of being the President Pro Tempore of the Senate.
We just came from the Senate, and that is the roof of the Senate right over there. We were just there, and right now we are here with Steve, the legislative liaison, and he's going to tell us where we're going next.
Well, right here we're on the roof of the main Capitol, and we're going to go up to the main dome.
Fantastic. That's a lot of steps, but we are going to have an awesome time.
8-story, 248 feet off the ground, 52 million pounds. Let's get started.
Wow, let's do it. So this is just a beginning of a series of a lot of steps I believe we're going to be walking, huh?
Yep, these are the first 2 stories.
Fantastic, okay. So we
and
are...
here, this is usually a surprise when people see this for the first time.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well folks, that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, did get my miner's hat on, but we're going to have a good time.
And I'm very glad that they've put in electricity since 1906 when it was first constructed.
Wow.
And here we have the separation between the outer dome
yes.
and the inner dome.
Okay.
And
wow, that's a lot of bricks.
yeah, if you had a penny for every single brick, you'd be a
We'd balance the
multi-millionaire.
budget.
You'd be a multi-millionaire.
All right, guys, so we're going to be climbing up these steep steps, and we're going to get a spectacular view. So where we are right now is at the ring at the base of the inner dome. We're about 8 stories high right now, and there are 13 frescoes around this dome. It is truly spectacular, and we are going to keep climbing up. So hopefully none of you are afraid of heights, but honestly, this is thrilling for me. So I'm so glad you came along for the ride. So where are we right now?
So we are on the lower ring of the outer dome.
Okay.
And this is actually the 3rd Capitol.
Oh.
The first Capitol burnt down in the 1890s. So while they were rebuilding it, the legislature met in that church on State Street.
Oh, which church? I see a couple. Oh, here's the steeple right here on the right-hand side.
Right there.
Yep.
So they were building the second church, and right here in this, the second Capitol, right here in this spot, and they met there in the early part of the 20th century, about 1902, and the legislature met here and hated it.
Really?
And said, okay, we are not meeting in this Capitol. It was too small. It was, if you go into some of the freshman members, they have very small offices, not really enough stuff for
I do know.
any of their, not enough space for their staff members, especially considering the number of constituents that they have to work for.
Right.
So the Cobb Capitol, that was the second Capitol, just didn't have enough space for it. But we were able to use it as the infrastructure for this, the 3rd Capitol.
Wow. Okay.
And this is based off of St. Peter's Basilica. So if you take a look at pictures of Rome, you may wonder what the Pennsylvania Capitol building is doing there. But it's we try to make it as close as possible.
Yeah.
And like that, we have the dome. And here we go all the way up.
With a little skinny magic door.
Yes.
Okay. I can't wait. Awesome. All right. Hey. This is a great look for me, folks. This is the GoPro, and you are going to get really a hands-free kind of look at everything that I'm seeing as I go through this awesome experience. So grab your couch and come along. All right, we go. Ooh, look at that. So we just climbed all of those stairs, all the way up here. We are at the very tip top.
The capsule at the top of the dome. So there's like at the top of a pill at the very end. You can look down, you can see the frescoes.
Oh, this isn't glass, folks. It looks like windows up here, but it's not. So if anyone's paying attention down there and they see my arm going up, that's what's going on. That is spectacular. We are literally at the very, very top of the dome. Incredible. So there's all kinds of cobwebs and all kinds of cool stuff around here, and all of this steel structure holding everything up.
So the only real time that this ever gets any cleaning is when we come up here to visit, or when we have to switch light bulbs, and we don't have to do that as often because we switched from old incandescents to they're now all LEDs, which one, saves us money on our electric bill, and number two, means that we don't have to change them as often, which is also a
That's a big plus for somebody who goes, I gotta change the light bulb again in the tub. Yeah.
Oh, and we don't change them individually. When it's time to change them, we change all of them.
Oh yeah, because if one's gonna go out,
they're all gonna go out.
Yeah, this is incredible. Really, really. So we're gonna go up a little bit more here.
Yeah.
And what are we gonna see when we pop out of the hole?
You're going to see Harrisburg. All of it.
Okay, fantastic. And so here we're looking at the, what dome is that right there?
This is the dome of the Senate.
Yep, which we saw the inside of when we were there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And when you look here, you see this
right
enclosure.
Here. Yes.
So the part closest to us.
Yep.
Not the one made out of glass.
Right.
That is actually covering up the dome of the state Supreme Court.
Yes.
So originally that was going to be the dome of the House of Representatives, and then they decided to move it over there. So that's actually a fake dome.
Oh.
And while that has a real dome on the inside, it wasn't actually built for one. So in order to protect it, because it's completely made out of glass, and you're feeling this wind up here, you're seeing my hair.
And we've had hail at many times, so stained glass domes don't really care for hail all that much.
Not so much.
I know, not so much.
So copper.
Yes.
And
smart.
That's been working out really well.
And it still lets all that natural sunlight in to shine through the stained glass dome that was so articulately, put together. It's gorgeous.
It's amazing the detail that they did on this when they were building it in 1902 to 1906.
Awesome.
And then, of course, you can see up there, and you can see Spirit of the Commonwealth, also called Laetitia. The senator, as you can see here, workmen over the ages have written their names on there, carved in their names that they've been working. You can see all the way back in 1908.
Oh my goodness.
And even as recently as the 90s.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for this spectacular, thrill-seeking tour. And I can't thank you all enough for joining us here on Focus on the 46. I hope you appreciated everything you saw here at this incredibly beautiful Capitol. It is the Palace of Art, it is the People's House and your state capitol, and I hope you come and see me here at the state capitol. I would love to take another tour with you. And thanks for joining me here on Focus on the 46.